I'm Janis, and I'm here to tell you today how I choose my base layers for going on specific hunts. Now, you know I've been wearing First Light base layers for years in the merino wool lineup. I want to tell you today that we just introduced a lightweight synthetic lineup called Yuma. I'm super excited about that because there are times when it gets too hot for the wool. I want something a little bit lighter, a little bit quicker drying, and the Yuma is gonna fit that bill perfectly. So the main two things I think about going into a hunt and like what am I gonna wear for the base layer is gonna be what's gonna be the average temperature, what's gonna be the low, what's gonna be the high, sort of what's gonna be the average, and then what's my level of exertion gonna be. And we can look at like two extremes of that, right? Like last August, I did a pronghorn archery hunt in Montana. The highs were easily into the 80s, maybe even 90s. And I had a lot of exertion, a lot of hiking, a lot of moving around, a lot of sweating. This Yuma piece in the hooded version worked out perfectly. The hood kept the sun off my neck and my ears. And again, the lightweight synthetic fabric was super comfy out there. It was cool. And when I did sweat it out, it dried extremely quickly. The other end of the extreme of like a lot of exertion, but super cold is a mountain lion hunt in December, right? Like the high might only be 10, 15 degrees, but we do a lot of hiking chasing these hounds around, right? And you don't know how much hiking it's gonna be, how steep it's gonna be, the level of exertion, but I usually know I'm gonna sweat a lot. But I want something that's gonna also insulate me when I stop moving. So there, I'm gonna move away from the synthetic and go to either the wick or the kiln, depending on what the high temp is gonna be. The kiln is gonna be reserved for really the coldest of cold days. Otherwise, I'm always gonna have that wick base layer, because again, I want it to dry fast and then insulate me with everything else I have on top. Now, for hunts where I don't have a lot of exertion, but it's gonna be cold. Like say a Wisconsin whitetail hunt in November that I like to do every year. Sitting in a tree, dusk to dawn, highs range from 20s probably on the low end, and then up into the lower 40s. There, I'm gonna wear something like a kiln, which is this layer here. Wear that to the tree. No, I'm not gonna sweat it up too bad. Get into the tree and then put on my other layers, like maybe a furnace hoodie, and then my thicker layers on top of that, right? Another time I might wear the synthetic version. Like the other day I was bear hunting here in Montana, hiked into my spot, took me about 2 hours. It was like 80 degrees at 2 p.m. Hiked in wearing just the Yuma t-shirt. It was great. I got sweaty, took the pack off once I got to my spot. It was dry like 5 minutes later. I was also feeling great about wearing that because it's treated with a product called No Fly Zone, which is gonna keep the bugs and the ticks off me. All the Yuma products are also treated with a high Q treatment, which is antimicrobial, so it keeps the stink down. Okay, so that's a great thing. Synthetics are known for being a little bit stinkier than the wool, but with that treatment, it helps it out extremely, extremely well. So again, two things to consider when you're picking out base layers or thinking about how you're gonna layer up for a hunt is how warm or cold is it gonna be, like your average temperature range, and then how much exertion you're gonna have. How much you're gonna sweat up your base layers, how fast you need them to dry out. So I hope that helps. Check it all out at firstlight.com.